You know you should say no. The words are right there in your throat. But somehow, what comes out is yes, again. And then you're angry. Not just at them for asking, but at yourself for agreeing. You tell yourself next time will be different. Next time, you'll set the boundary. Next time, you'll put yourself first. But next time comes, and nothing changes. Welcome to North by Truth. Today, we're uncovering the real psychological reason you can't set boundaries, and it's not what you think. This goes deeper than just learning to say no. This is about understanding why saying yes feels like survival. Let's find the truth. First, let's clear something up. Your inability to set boundaries isn't a character flaw. It's not because you're weak or a pushover or lack self-respect. It's a survival strategy. And it made perfect sense once. When you were young, you learned very quickly what happened when you said no. Maybe the emotional temperature in the room dropped. Maybe you were met with anger, guilt-tripping, or withdrawal of love. Maybe saying yes was the only way to keep the peace, to stay safe, to be accepted. So you adapted. You became attuned to other people's needs before your own. You learned to read the room, to anticipate what others wanted, to make yourself smaller so everyone else could be comfortable. This wasn't weakness. This was intelligence. This was you doing what you needed to do to survive in an environment where your needs weren't prioritized. But here's what happens. That childhood survival strategy becomes your adult default. The boundary-less child becomes the boundary-less adult. And now, even when you're safe, even when you're with people who would respect your no, your nervous system still believes that saying no equals danger. So why can't you set boundaries, even when you consciously want to? There are 3 core fears operating beneath the surface. Fear 1: abandonment. This is the deepest fear. Your nervous system has learned that boundaries equal rejection. If you say no, they'll leave. If you disappoint them, they'll abandon you. If you're not constantly giving, you'll be alone. This fear usually comes from early experiences where love felt conditional, where acceptance was based on what you could do for others, not who you were, where your value was measured by your usefulness. So now, as an adult, every boundary feels like a risk. Everyone no feels like you're pushing people away. Your brain is running an old program that says, if I'm not constantly available, constantly accommodating, constantly sacrificing, I'll be discarded. But here's the truth. Your fear won't tell you. People who truly value you won't leave because you have limits. In fact, healthy people respect boundaries. It's the unhealthy ones who punish you for having them. Fear 2: guilt. This one's insidious because it disguises itself as morality. You tell yourself, I should help. I should be there. I should sacrifice. Good people don't say no when someone needs them. But let's be honest about what this really is. This isn't virtue. This is conditioning. Somewhere along the way, you internalized the belief that your needs are less important than everyone else's. That taking care of yourself is selfish. That rest is lazy. That prioritizing your well-being is self-centered. The guilt you feel when you set a boundary? That's not your conscience speaking. That's an old voice from your past telling you that your needs don't matter. And every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're reinforcing that lie. Fear 3: conflict. For some of you, this is the big one. You avoid boundaries because boundaries create friction, and friction feels dangerous. Maybe you grew up in a home where conflict was explosive, where disagreement meant yelling, or coldness, or someone getting hurt, where tension was unbearable and your job was to keep the peace. So now, you'll do anything to avoid making waves. You'll agree when you disagree. You'll accommodate when you're exhausted. You'll suppress your truth to maintain harmony. But here's what you're learning. That's not actually peace. That's silence. That's suppression. That's you erasing yourself so others don't have to feel uncomfortable. Real peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from knowing you can handle it. From trusting that relationships strong enough to survive disagreement are the only ones worth keeping. Before we talk about how to set boundaries, we need to redefine what they actually are. Because most people misunderstand this completely. Boundaries aren't walls. They're not about keeping people out or being cold or withholding love. Boundaries are the space where you get to exist as yourself. They're the way you communicate. This is who I am. This is what I need. This is what I can give. And this is what I cannot. Boundaries are not punishments. They're not manipulations. They're not weapons. They're honest statements about your capacity, your values, and your limits. And here's what's revolutionary about this. Boundaries aren't about controlling other people. They're about honoring yourself. You're not setting a boundary to make someone behave differently. You're setting a boundary to protect your energy, your peace, and your authenticity. When you understand this, everything changes. Because you stop waiting for permission to have limits. You stop needing people to agree with your boundaries for them to be valid. Your boundary isn't up for negotiation. It's a truth about what you need to remain whole. So how do you actually start setting boundaries when every cell in your body is screaming that it's dangerous? Here are 4 steps that will change your life. Step 1. Get clear on what you actually need. You can't set a boundary if you don't know what it is. Sit down and ask yourself, where am I giving more than I have? Where am I saying yes and feeling resentful? Where am I exhausted because I'm prioritizing everyone else's needs over my own? Write it down. Name it. Get specific. I need to stop answering work emails after 7 p.m. I need to stop lending money to my sibling. I need to stop being the only one who plans everything in this friendship. Clarity is the first step to change. Step 2. Expect discomfort. And set the boundary anyway. Here's what most people don't tell you. Setting boundaries will feel bad at first. You will feel guilty. You might feel selfish. Your nervous system will panic and tell you that you're doing something dangerous. That discomfort is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign you're doing something new. The guilt is your old programming fighting to stay alive. Don't let it win. Feel the discomfort. Acknowledge it. And set the boundary anyway. Step 3. Be clear and unapologetic. When you set a boundary, don't justify it to death. Don't apologize excessively. Don't leave room for negotiation. Not, I'm so sorry, I know this is probably inconvenient, but maybe if it's okay with you, I was thinking I might not be able to. Instead, I won't be able to help with that this time. I'm not available after 8 p.m. I need some time alone this weekend. You don't owe anyone a dissertation on why you have limits. No is a complete sentence. But if you want to offer context, keep it simple and honest. Step 4. Let people react and hold your boundary anyway. Here's the hardest part. Some people will not like your boundaries. They'll push back. They'll guilt you. They'll call you selfish or dramatic or difficult. Let them. Their discomfort with your boundary is not your responsibility to fix. If someone truly values you, they'll adjust. They might be surprised at first, especially if you've never had boundaries before, but they'll respect it. If they don't, that tells you everything you need to know. People who can't respect your boundaries don't respect you. They value what you do for them, not who you are. And those aren't the people you need in your life. Setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. It doesn't push people away. It reveals who was only there for what you could give them. It doesn't create distance. It creates space for you to exist fully without burning yourself out. The people who love you, truly love you, will not punish you for having limits. They'll respect them. And in respecting your boundaries, they'll show you what real love looks like. It looks like being seen, being valued, being allowed to be human. You were never meant to pour from an empty cup. You were never meant to shrink yourself so others could expand. You were never meant to earn your place by erasing your needs. Boundaries are how you come home to yourself. They're how you stop betraying who you are for the comfort of people who wouldn't do the same for you. The path north, your true north, requires you to stop abandoning yourself. It requires you to trust that you're worth protecting, even when it's uncomfortable. If this resonated with you, subscribe to North by Truth for more honest guidance on relationships, healing, and living authentically. Your boundaries aren't walls. They're the foundation of every healthy relationship you'll ever have, including the one with yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Stay true to your North.